Joining us now for this discussion is a crime expert, Calvin Rafadi, and he joins us now via our video link. Calvin, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. I mean, let's start off here. When it comes to the outcomes of that briefing of the Hawks boss, Dr. Godfrey Lebeya, what would you say stood out for you the most?
Good evening, Bali. I must first applaud the Hawks. They've done a great job. And even most of us will say, no, this is just a small drop in an ocean. But, we must appreciate the fact that there are arrests and convictions. Yeah. Because for a case to come to a point of conviction, you must really know that they put a lot of efforts, a lot of work, and there were no brown envelopes even at court. But again, what stood out for me is that, the issue about, it's a white-collar crime in Gauteng, whereby most of this particular syndicates, they take many opportunities, especially why in Gauteng is because of the small influx of illegal immigrants. There's a lot of opportunities, even for some of the South Africans. But when they arrive here, they commit certain crimes. Because one must understand that organized crime, it is an opportunist crime whereby the person is not starving, but because an organized crime is a syndicate, they go and take such opportunities, and it affects the economy of the country as well.
Certainly, and it brings me to, the arrests in which we have seen 673 people in high-profile cases, and that's what you're basically touching on when it comes to serious corruption, fraud, money laundering. You also earlier on commended the police for their work. One would say that this is a major breakthrough.
Yes, no, indeed. That's why I'm saying we must appreciate the fact that at least there are convictions because of, we've got a lot of challenges at court whereby cases are not properly served before the court process. NPA sitting with lack of evidence, like we've seen there in, the illegal military camp of the 95 Libyans. Such things, they bring the community into low morale to trust the police. But if there are convictions, there are arrests, and even we've seen some politicians, appearing in court, like the former Speaker of Parliament, the former Minister of Sports, so it's a great sign. But also, we're not going to shy away that the Pala issue still taints the Hawks' efforts in combating serious and violent crime. But what we can say is that we shall await for the NPA on the way forward on this matters, like the Lieutenant General has alluded. But what I can also highlight is that, just to twist this arm, you must just tell us, is there a prima facie case to answer or not? Just a simple yes or no. But indeed, Pala is one of those that still taints the efforts of the Hawks.
Certainly, Calvin, definitely Pala is on a number of people's radars, and the Hawks certainly will be tested in that regard when it comes to dealing with that matter. Also coming to the issue of, crimes being reported and serious crimes being reported in the likes of Gauteng coming out tops, as well as KZN as well. What would you attribute this to when it seems, the high and the sheer numbers of crime, of serious crimes in these two provinces?
Yeah, I firstly want to, urge our listeners and viewers at home that, this particular crime, especially of fraud, like they've highlighted, especially in the Gauteng area, is that a lot of fraudsters, because they also come to a point where they are desperate to have a certain bank account where they can distribute the money. So that's what we call in this particular crime of filth, where they got what we call a three split. Now, a three split, the owner of their bank account gets 30%, the middleman gets 30%, and the guys who are stealing the money gets 30%. So we've seen that a lot of our, fellow South Africans, they participate in the other 30% where they give out their bank account numbers. Now, in the old days, the police will come to you, then they'll just obtain a statement, even when you tell them that, no, it's my boyfriend or my girlfriend who asked for the account number, but I'm not the one who's responsible for the money that is being stolen. Now, the law has been amended that they equally are charged for that particular crime. So people must be very careful, be very vigilant not to give out their bank accounts, because you'll be liable for that particular crime. But indeed, crime is still rife. White-collar crime, cyber crime is on the high. And we've heard about also when he touched about, the love scammers, what we call the washer. Now, this particular syndicate, they lure women and even other businessmen, into believing that they want to make them rich, or they love them, they want to come and stay with them and marry them. And we've seen on a number of series that were covered that this particular washers, they will take your money and, just fool you. And there is no such thing as a quick rich scam. They are just scammers, and they fool people, especially through cyber security. So people must be very vigilant not to opt for this particular scammer.
And coming to, what this week has been touched on a lot is the issue around extortion, looking at the syndicates, particularly in the Eastern Cape. Do you think that enough attention is, being probed in by the police when it comes to trying to nab these syndicates who want these so-called protection fees, from residents in the country?
Yeah, you see the issue about construction mafia or extortion and particular cults like Mapara around Eastern Cape, and even in KZN, even in Gauteng, or we can say the whole of South Africa. I also equally blame the station commanders, because one must understand that if any person brings information to the station commanders, they ought to give that information to crime intelligence and to Hawks, because Hawks, they are the organized crime. They can open an inquiry without even registering a docket and analyze that information, get the bank statements of those people that are profiting from these illicit crimes. And, upon receiving the final version of, the actual syndicate, then the Hawks can act upon, in getting search warrants and even warrant of arrest, even with the help of the NPA. But my point is that any matters, any syndicate can be investigated through the Hawks, which is just an inquiry. There's no need for somebody to walk in a police station and open a docket. But the station commanders, they need to highlight those things, even in visors, so that people who are scared, they know that their ID numbers will never show on the system that they are the complainant on behalf of a particular case. And in the same breath, we want to also urge, because we realize most of the Hawks offices, they've got security personnel by the entrance. And we kindly urge those security personnel that informants and whistleblowers, they don't owe you any explanation when they need to enter those offices to give out information. Let them in, just do your proper diligence, search them, make sure you get their ID numbers, let them go in. You don't need to hear the story that why are you here at the Hawks? These are the Hawks office, go back to the local police station and report the matter. Other people, they trust those offices, so we need informants and whistleblowers to enter into those offices. So no red tapes, please.
All right, Mr. Rafadi, thank you so much for your time. That is Calvin Rafadi, crime expert there, just analysing the numbers in which we saw from Godfrey Lebeya, the Hawks head, delivering that briefing earlier on today.